Hey, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show. Thanks for tuning in to the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM. If you're interested in sponsoring my show, you can send me an email to the Mike Wagner Show at gmail.com, or you could also donate to the podcast. Just go to the Donate Listen site, and you can also donate whatever you like. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. For those who are interested, Anchor can give you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. We got creation tools, allows you to record and edit podcasts so it sounds great, and they'll distribute the podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere. Spotify, Apple, Google, many more. And you can make money from the podcast with no minimum listenership. So download the Anchor app for free or go to Anchor FM to get started.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and over 35 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with successful business owner Kristen Marquet out of New York City. She's got a book out called Femme Founder of the Book, From Nameless to Notable, which is generating media startup. She's also the founder of FemFounder.com, thegithingearth.com, e-nixie.com, that's N-I-X-I, and also bloglist.com and more. And just talk about basically how you get started. She's also creative director for an award-winning agency, and we'll talk more about that. And right now, live from beautiful New York City, and just taking in all the riches, and there's always more. Ladies and gentlemen, live from New York, successful business owner, Kristen Marquet. Kristen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm such a huge fan of the show, and it's such an honor to be on.
Well, thank you as well, too. And, of course, I feel like I'm a fan of yours as well, too, since you're the founder and creative director of Marquet Media, and you also have some other brands, including FemFounder.com, The Giving Earth, e-nixie, and also you have a book called Femme Founder the Book, which is From Nameless to Notable. We'll talk about that. And you also were a creative director for an award-winning agency, which is the Creative Development Agency. And before we get to all that and some of your fantastic works and all your book and upcoming projects, tell us how you got started.
Yeah, so I was, interestingly enough, when I had graduated from college, I was thinking about going into the legal field. And I had worked for a law firm for a year and being exposed to insurance defense work and PI and a whole bunch of areas of specialty. And working as a marketing manager, it wasn't really for me. So I decided to pivot a little bit and move into consulting. And then that's when I was working on that project in Bismarck by you. And then I was there for about 3 years. And then the financial crisis happened. My entire office and in New York and our offices in New Jersey and Massachusetts all closed down. There just wasn't enough consulting work to go around. So at that point, I had to make the decision of looking for another job or starting a business. And I took that leap of faith. And it's been 11 years now since I've been on my own. And it's been a very interesting journey. But my first business, my first real business that I had was Creative Development Agency, which was a full service PR and marketing firm. In 2018, I offloaded that company and then created a spin-off company, FemFounder.co, and then a bunch of other sub-brands. So that's primarily what I'm working on. And then I have a few one-to-one, very high-touch clients that I work with through MarquetMedia.com.
Mm-hmm. And also, too, tell us more about FemFounder.co as well, too. And, of course, coincide with the book. It sounds very, very interesting. It's basically about building a business, powerful techniques, and many more. Just tell us more about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So going back to working in the agency and, having 30 clients and having a staff, throughout a lot of the years, I had friends and just prospects approach me and say, hey, Chris, I wish there was a one-stop shop I can go to get all the information that I need on the PR side or the digital marketing side, social media, and so forth. I don't have, $5,000 or $10,000 a month to hire an agency. I want to spend a couple $100 and be able to become proficient in all these different areas. So that's how FemFounder.co came about. And since we launched in 2017, we've been growing exponentially. We just hit a million page views this month.
Wow.
And yeah, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, and it kind of runs on autopilot, and it's really just kind of my labor of love, and has become my passion. And what I decided to do was take all the information that I had aggregated or I had written over the last 3 years and put it into a book, and from nameless to notable. And that's what we're going to be launching this summer. The launch date got pushed back from April 13th to June due to the coronavirus and all these other projects that we're working on. But it pretty much is like a PR, digital marketing, and social media Bible. Everything that you need to know about how to pitch national editors, at the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal, to NPR, to the Today Show, and everything in between, to actually being able to generate leads on Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest. It's all in there. It's no BS. It's no fluff. It's just to the point. That's what I realized that our readers need, especially now with a lot of larger companies cutting marketing budgets. They don't have the resources to hire an agency. So like I said, it's pretty much everything I know wrapped up into 200 pages.
That is amazing as well, too. And, of course, the book From Nameless to Notable as well, too. And, of course, I'm on FemFounder.com right now. And let's say if I have a book right now, like, let's say I have like a 300-page book about a mystery, like say who killed who killed off the New York Mets. Let's just say I'm throwing it out there. So let's say I go ahead and present the book as well, too. And how do we go about this process here?
That's a great question. So it really just depends on what your market is and what your objectives are for the book. If you're looking to make a lot of money from writing a book, unless you're a best-selling author, on the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal, it's probably not going to happen. But if you're looking to use it as an educational tool or a business card, or, even if it's just kind of a passion project, you need to identify who your reader is. Once you understand who that is, then it's going to be a lot easier to put together the strategy to get the messaging out there. It's very fundamental, but that's the first couple of steps that you need to take.
Mm-hmm. And, of course, most importantly, too, that, there's always the first impressions, and people are so worried about the first impressions. And, of course, based on your experience, why our first impressions are important?
Well, there's so much competition out there, and consumers have too many choices, and you will be forgotten about very quickly if you don't find a way to connect with your target audience. And you can have a beautiful piece of packaging, but if the copy sucks, or if it lacks any type of emotional, compelling way for the audience to relate to it, it's just going to fall flat, So making sure that you have something that's unique or innovative and pretty and compelling, that's going to be the way to create an impression that lasts.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's very important, too. We'll talk about more of your services, what you offer, and also more in the book. You listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and over 35 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with successful business owner Kristen Marquet here on the Mike Wagner Show, the owner of FemFounder.co, and also the owner as well, too, the Giving Earth e-nixie.com. That's Nixi. We'll talk about that. And I noticed on FemFounder you also offer a masterclass as well, too. And plus, you also start up and Power Hour and more. And you can just tell us about some of those, especially the masterclass.
Yeah, for sure. So the masterclass is a more in-depth one-to-one program that students will be able to, where they'll be able to get access to me. And sometimes after somebody ends up reading a book, they end up needing more help. So in this case, I decided to extend that my knowledge and expertise through a masterclass. So like I said, it's just a more in-depth version of the book, and you get that one-to-one feedback with me. Now, eNixie, I know that we talked about that. I know it's such a crazy name. It's such a weird name, but that came to me when I was talking to one of my other co-founders of the website. We were looking to create a lifestyle website for women that were specifically over the age of 35, that was accessible, approachable, and realistic. We wanted to let women know that are a little bit more mature, you can still be stylish at any age. So that's essentially how we position that website, and it's growing every day. Our subscriber base is growing, and pretty soon we're going to be launching an e-commerce component to that, where we end up selling organic beauty products through select brands.
Wow. I mean, you just got a variety on here. eNixie magazine, fashion, lifestyle, beauty, food and drink, and a lot more. And of course, besides being on eNixie.com, and is there like a subscription fee to this, or do you sign up to be a member or get exclusive, or can people just go on the website and check it out?
Yeah, no, it's open to the public. Anybody can read all of our articles. If they want information, tips, trends that are a little bit more in depth, then they can sign up for our newsletter. We send out a newsletter once a week, and it's completely free.
Mm-hmm. And of course, I like the things too, especially with the current pandemic, like cooking on budget for the whole week. And of course, you also got 6 culinary unique breakfasts around the world. And right now, I'm looking at this website, and it's just, oh my gosh, I'm just so hungry. And of course, there's also about work as well too, and preventing sickness at work, and also with the pandemic, it's like, how do you effectively still get your work done during this current pandemic?
Right, exactly. Because like you said, I mean, we're all working from home, and it's tough for people that have kids that are school aged, because they have to work from home, they have to be able to maintain the home, they have to homeschool their kids. So, we should just try and give real advice to our readers that they'll be able to implement like almost immediately. The articles are short, the sentences are short, and we're not writing these massive journalistic pieces because that's not who our reader is.
Mm-hmm. And plus, too, you also have some other books as well, too. You authored in 2015, Squash the Competition and Dominate Your Marketplace, 55 Easy Tips to Generate Big Publicity for Your Startup and Small Business. You also wrote in 2018 the Amazon bestseller, Publicity Jumpstart, 10 Ways to Get Your Brand in the Press. And tell us about more about those books.
Yeah, so Squash the Competition, Dominate Your Marketplace, that book I had written basically for the aspiring or for the very new entrepreneur who wanted to dip a cautious toe into the vast PR world without getting overwhelmed. So it's a very straightforward, very short book that any entrepreneur can read and can implement. They can start drafting pitch letters and they can implement those tips immediately. The Publicity Jumpstart I actually had co-authored with a good friend of mine. Her name is Michelle Lewis. She's actually based on the West Coast. And that book is all about branding and how to use your brand to get press. And again, the press is all sorts of press. It's podcasts, television, radio, print, online, bloggers. There's a huge section in that book that talks about partnering with influencers because that's kind of, that's the next frontier and that's going to be continuous, throughout the foreseeable future. And a lot of entrepreneurs are a little skeptical and that they lack the knowledge that they need to be able to pursue those influencer and blogger collaborations.
Mm-hmm. And that's amazing as well, too. And plus, some tips on building a profitable business. Maybe you can give us some tips. And also, I noticed, too, that starting a business, 6 ways to build a successful business with your spouse, and especially more important than ever during this pandemic and the times we're living in. You can just tell us about those.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go back to your first question. The 5 or 6 things that anybody can do to start an online business within a week with less than, $500 is identify who your customer is. It's a very basic but fundamental step that you need to take. I know that you've probably heard it time and again, but it's critical that you figure out who you want to serve. Once you figure out who your customer is, build a cheap website, spend a couple $100. You can use something like Wix or Weebly or Squarespace to develop just a very basic website, figure out what your offerings are, price based on value. Don't price based on what you kind of see everybody else out there doing. Price based on what you're going to offer, whether it's a product or a service or it's software. I don't care what it is. But yeah, I always tell my entrepreneurs, price based on value. And the other thing is, you don't have to be everywhere in the beginning. Figure out where your people are, understand who they are, and build a presence in front of them. I don't care if it's Instagram or Facebook or if it's through, doing guest blog posts, whatever. Just focus on one space in the beginning and become an expert in that area, and then you can move on to other areas.
Mm-hmm. And it's also important, too, to protect your business as well, too, according to FemFounder as well, too, in terms of security. And tell us more about why is it so important to protect your business?
Yeah, so from a cyber security standpoint, especially now since so many people are online and, hackers are going crazy, cybersecurity is a real threat. You have to make sure that whatever you're doing online is secure, especially if you're an e-commerce brand. You want to make sure that you're showing that your website is secure to consumers, because if it's not, your website could be taken down within a matter of minutes. So that's one thing. The other thing is you want to make sure that you change your passwords often. I know that you've probably heard it time and again, but it's critical. I actually change my passwords like once a week because I had somebody hijack my Twitter account a couple of years ago.
Oh, that's
and it was,
common. Yeah. Oh my
but it
gosh.
was awful because this person was posting things on my account that were just really vulgar, and obviously they weren't coming from me. And then they tried to extort $400 out of me.
Oh my gosh.
So it was so stupid. So yeah, so you want to make sure.
Oh, and by the way, what is your password? I'm kidding.
You really want me to tell you?
No, I'm kidding.
I know.
And of course, it is possible to make money during COVID-19. And of course, interesting article about that. Maybe just a quick summary of how you can make money during COVID-19, not just sit and make, TikTok videos or just sit and binge watch Netflix. That's not one of the options to making money.
No, exactly. Not unless, you have it on in the background. That's one thing. But, there are a lot of ways that you can go online and make money. One way is, I know that it seems so elementary, but, anything that you have sitting around your house that you're not using, clothes, jewelry, whatever, put on eBay, you can sell, put on Etsy. If you don't want to do that, you can start an online service-based business, which goes back to the 5 tips that I had just given to you guys, 5 or 10 minutes ago. But in terms of opportunities, now is the time. It really is just, the possibilities for starting an online business are completely, infinite at this point.
Mm-hmm. It does sound like it as well, too. We'll talk about your future plans coming up as well, too. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, over 35 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with successful business owner Kristen Marquet, owner of Marquet Media here on the Mike Wagner Show. Also the author of the book Femme Founder, and also owner of FemFounder.co, plus many other ventures. She's based out in New York City. And of course, before we just talk about your future plans and what's coming up book-wise and everything, and what do you see in the future, besides getting past the pandemic of 2020, and what do you see in terms of business, e-commerce, entrepreneurship, opportunities, business, and everything else in, say, 2021 and beyond?
Interesting question. For the online world, I think it's going to continue to grow. I think a lot of people that have been laid off or furloughed, terminated from their jobs over the last 6 weeks, I think that they're going to be starting online businesses. I think that once the country reopens, let's say, on a whole, I think that we're going to see a huge surge in consumerism again. I think people are going to want to get out of the house. So, we're going to see this tremendous uptick in terms of people traveling and people going to visit restaurants and concerts, but it's going to take a little time. But I think that definitely within the next 18 months, we're going to see a huge surge. I also think, the stock market will definitely rebound. In terms of what I do, and the types of clients that I work with through the agency, I think that pipeline is going to be, I'm going to be able to maintain it being full, simply because all these new entrepreneurs that are going to be, starting businesses over the next 18 months, they're going to need help in terms of branding and digital marketing and social media, and PR particularly. So that's kind of the broad stroke of what I see for the economy. But yeah, on a more granular detail, on a more granular level rather, I think that people are going to shop more online. I think that retail stores, we're going to see a lot of them close, unfortunately, move their operations completely online, just based on the little bit of data, that I have, and in terms of speculation. So that's kind of what I think.
Mm-hmm. And also too that when it comes to upcoming plans as well too, are we going to see any books come out by you in 2020, or what are your future plans for 2020 and beyond in terms of books or offering, say, new classes or anything like that, or maybe even podcasts or anything like that?
Yeah, for sure. So From Nameless to Notable is actually going to be coming out this summer, so in June. So that's going to be the book of 2020. I don't have anything else on the docket for 2021 in terms of books, but we have the From Nameless to Notable Masterclass, which is going to be open up this summer. And I also have a course. It's called the PR Academy. It's actually much more in-depth than any other course that I've offered. So I'm going to be opening that again in early 2021, but it's going to be very high touch, and we're only going to allow 6 people in it. Right now, the format that we have, it's self-paced. And we actually have probably, like 500 students in there right now. But I'm getting a lot of requests for that one-to-one help or, feedback on the coursework itself. So yeah, that's what we have in the pipeline.
Oh, that's fantastic. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
I would have to say my father. He was a very successful entrepreneur. He retired at 50, and he always encouraged me to pursue a career in self-employment. And, when I had told him I wanted to go to law school, I was thinking about it. He was like, it's a waste. He's like, if you want to go back to school, go to business school. And ultimately, I ended up going back for 2 graduate degrees. But nonetheless, he has been, my biggest advocate and my biggest influence.
That is fantastic. And what's the best advice you give anybody at this point?
Be patient. I know things are tough right now, but what goes up must come down. So just think about how you can be productive now. And on the personal side, just try and focus on the positive, spending time with the family or working on that passion project or, embarking on something that you always wanted to do. I know that you've probably heard it many times, but it's true. This is a time of self-reflection, and we need to be, we need to use it best to our advantage at this point.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic as well, too. And one more thing, how do people get in touch with you in terms of getting in on these classes and one-on-one coaching?
Oh, sure. So you can reach me at femfounder.co. It's FEM founder.co or marquet-media.com. And my email is kristin@marquetmedia, all one word, .co. I know it's a little incongruent, but that's what I had to take when I was setting up all these domains.
And also, where can people purchase your book?
Sure. So they're going to actually be able to get it on Amazon, and Squash the Competition and Publicity Jumpstart are currently available on Amazon.
That's fantastic. Kristen Marquet, successful business owner of MarquetMedia.com. Thank you very much for your time. You've been fantastic. Once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? And where can people purchase your books and classes?
Sure. So femfounder.co for the book and for the masterclass. MarquetMedia.com if you need one-to-one PR marketing services. And my email is Kristen, it's Kristin, at MARQUET media.co.
That's fantastic. Kristen, again, a big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic, very inspirational. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date, and we'd love you to have back on sometime in 2020 and beyond. Be successful.
Thank you so much. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.